Hey guys, coming out for the mid-season premiere of Supergirl, Season 2, Episode 9, Supergirl Lives. And guys, it has been a long time since Supergirl has been on. I think it's been like since November, since the last episode really was. And I definitely have felt it, honestly. I've really been loving the season so far, as you guys know. But I really didn't know how this premiere really was going to be since we had our villain defeated pretty much in the mid-season finale. I was also a bit worried because, as I said, I did think we were rushing the season. But overall, I thought this was a really well done episode. Was it perfect? No, but it definitely was a very well done mid-season premiere that really did play to the show's strengths and really gave us an idea of where we're going moving forward, which if we're going where I think we're going, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the way the rest of the season plays out. But we start off and we see Supergirl. She's chasing down a van of jewel thieves, and one of the thieves shoots a bazooka at her, but Supergirl stops the van with her heat vision. When two of the thieves get away on foot, Guardian arrives to help put them down, and Wynn tries to assist capturing the last thief, but the guy gets the drop of him, almost puts a bullet in his head until Guardian shows up at the last second. And if Guardian not showed up, Wynn would of course be dead. So I mean, it's a very crazy situation immediately, and later that night we see Supergirl, and she's complaining to Alex that she's in a funk. She's not really happy at all over many things. One, Guardian, she's pretty much tired of him. She feels like, he's just kind of annoying her and that she doesn't really need him, but Alex knows that that's James, and that James is the one that is the Guardian. She's doing all she can to try to get Supergirl on, the Guardian's good side, but there's not really much she can do about that. I mean, the Guardian in general was always going to be a problem, so you can tell that's bothering her. But it's not just that. She's just in a bad mood, and Alex offers a date, basically offers to cancel her date with Maggie to spend the night with, Kara. And basically, I like that Alex and Maggie are together. I do like that overall. But the next morning, Maggie and Alex decide to play hooky rather than go to work. And it's this nice little scene between them. I enjoy that overall. And I thought this episode definitely had all the best pairings we've had in the show so far. Definitely, they were all in this episode. And I thought they did a pretty good job with that here. But yeah, like I said, good way to start off the episode overall. I definitely did like the scene between Alex and Maggie where Maggie's, wearing her shirts, and Alex is saying that she's, genuinely in a bad mood, in a good mood, because she's really starting to make sense of this all. Now that she has taken some time, she really is understanding what it means to be bisexual and what it means to have, a lesbian girlfriend. I thought it was definitely a very well done scene. It really plays well into Alex's arc, which I think has definitely been one of the highlights of the season. I've definitely enjoyed that overall, and I'm definitely interested in seeing where this is going to go. I know I complained that these two got together, I think, way too fast, but it honestly is benefiting the show. The two actors have really good chemistry, and scenes like this definitely show that very well. So over at Catco, Jimmy and Kara are writing jewel stories about the jewel heist from the night before. James is doing all he can to try to make himself look good as the Guardian, while Kara's just talking about how, Supergirl did all the work, and probably the funniest scene with Snapper so far, where he just wants coffee, and this is understandable. I mean, Snapper just got there. He just wants to chill and drink his coffee, and a woman suddenly shows up at Snapper's office asking for help to find her missing daughter, and Kara promises to help, but Snapper doesn't really think that it's news. I mean, people are missing all the time. There's nothing really new about it, but this basically starts the main mission of the episode, which is to find this woman's daughter, and I did like the way that was done, definitely. I thought that was an interesting mission that we had going on here, and I did like the way they gave a little bit more humor to Snapper. Not that I haven't liked Snapper, well, I haven't really liked Snapper. I think he's been a little bit cartoony and unrealistic, and just, very unnecessarily mean, I have to say. It seems like they've just kind of made him mean just so they can have someone who's mean, and I like that they are starting to give him more fun stuff. It very much reminded me of what happened with Kat. People did not like her in the beginning, but they found what worked with her, and they used it very well, and I think they're going to do the same with Snapper. Hopefully, at least. It seems that they are. But Kara then shows up at this still unnamed alien bar to find that Mon-El is now working there as a bartender, and Mon-El's trying to offer some unwanted advice about Kara's funk, which really is not helping at all, because we already know that Kara, is kind of upset with Mon-El because of the kiss they had, but I like that she's not telling him, and that this isn't really going anywhere, because as I said, I want these two to stay friends. I don't want them to date. I don't want them to be friends. I want them to be friends. I see them a lot more as a brother and sister than I do as boyfriend and girlfriend, and that remains the same in this episode. I don't see any hints of romantic chemistry between these two. It doesn't seem like they're going in that direction, and I really hope they're not, because it just wouldn't make a ton of sense. I mean, I like seeing him as her protege and, someone that she trains. I don't like seeing him as a potential boyfriend. I think it just makes more sense to have him as a trainee rather than a boyfriend. But basically we see that Kara is there to meet Maggie for the case file on missing person. Turns out that there's actually been a spike of missing persons cases recently, so this is why Snapper doesn't really feel it's news. There's been a ton of human trafficking going on, and we know that definitely something is going on with that. I think it definitely is very interesting overall that we heard about that, and I like seeing interactions between Maggie and Kara. These are two people who we haven't seen a ton of interaction with this season. I did like that we saw that in this episode. So a scientist leads a young man into an empty warehouse and then pushes him into a mystery alien device, and he is our titular villain of this episode, and he actually wasn't cheesy. I actually did like this villain for the most part. He then thanks Roulette for finding another perfect candidate, and we don't exactly know what that has to do with. I'm guessing that has to, we're guessing it has to do with the daughter, but again, we're not entirely sure. And I like the way they kept us guessing. They didn't force feed everything. They kind of kept us guessing throughout the episode. I thought they did a good job with that. And Kara then asks Wynn for help about the missing persons and finds out that all the missing people actually had blood work done. And she also knows that Wynn has a nasty shiner from the jewel thief. So we're kind of thinking, holy shit, maybe he's going to be the next victim to this thief, basically. But Kara and Mon-El then go undercover to investigate the clinic where all the missing people had their blood work taken, and the scientist from earlier tries to strong harm the pair into an alien portal. And I love the scene where they were trying to act like a couple, and we saw that one scene where Mon-El's talking about he wants Paris City, and the scientist is telling him, oh, we'll get you to Paris City. Again, it just shows that Mon-El, even though he's a little bit more acclimated, he's still not fully equipped to the ways of the world. I thought that was definitely pretty funny to see, and it's a good running joke, and it keeps the character interesting. That's something that I like that they're doing. They're keeping this character interesting. They're giving him things to do. They're really playing to his strengths, and I really am liking that. I like where they're going with his character overall, but Kara runs off through the portal to try to find the girl, and she tells Mon-El specifically, don't follow me. But the planet, on the other hand, is a red sun, and so she's powerless, and an alien attacks Supergirl, but Mon-El actually rushes through the portal and saves her, and completely disobeys her. He actually does save her, and they argue over what to do next, but Supergirl's determined to find the missing people, who are probably in a giant fortress in the distance. So for the rest of the episode, they're pretty much trapped together, and it really makes for some very fun comedic banter between the two. I really did like seeing these two work together. They have very good chemistry, like I said, but it's not like boyfriend-girlfriend chemistry. It's like brother-sister chemistry, and this episode definitely shows that quite well. But James then shows up at the DO to check on Wynn. Wynn is freaking out. He's actually trying to quit on James. He's telling him, look, I want no part of this. You can be the Guardian. I just don't want to help you anymore. Because now he's seen the ways of the world. He's seen how violent it is. He's seen how dangerous it really is, and he's just seen how unsafe it is, and it makes sense for Wynn. Wynn is the only one here, well, besides James, of course, and Alex, too, who he doesn't have powers. He's not a robot. He's not an alien. He just doesn't have powers. And that's something that is really starting to, freak him out a bit, that he could actually get hurt pretty badly. So he's really starting to quit. And Alex shows up and asks if either of them have heard from Kara, because she has no idea where she is. And the rest of the episode, we have sort of a rescue mission going on. So as Mon-El and Kara approach the fortress, Mon-El actually gets his leg caught in a trap, and they end up getting captured by an alien named Joe. And when Alex finds the portal, which John recognizes as a transmitter portal, and Joe ends up freezing Mon-El and Supergirl and explains that the missing people are being sold as slaves, basically. So Mon-El realizes that they're actually on Slaver's moon, and Joe says there's no way into the fortress, but Supergirl does point out that there's an easy way to get into the fortress, which is by surrendering. The only way they're going to get in there is if they surrender, which they don't really want to do, but the scientist, who we find is actually an alien, leads Supergirl and Mon-El to the human prisoners, and Supergirl finds the missing girl, admits that she doesn't have her powers right now, and Roulette then shows up, says that they should stop meeting like this, and I like that she couldn't help her. This is someone that Kara, she took time out of her day to help, but unfortunately, because she doesn't have her powers, she can't do anything. She can't help her. And, we've had an episode like this before where she doesn't have her powers, but they really did a good job with showing what happened here with her not being able to help this girl who is in a very, who's in definitely a big need of help, and Kara obviously can't help her here. So Alex and the DEO track Supergirl to Slaver's Moon, but John can't join the rescue mission because the air is actually toxic to Martians, which that was a very good reason why, because yeah, he could have easily just saved them, and I like that they said that, because if not, people probably would have said, why didn't John just save them? That's why. The air's completely toxic to Martians, and we know that, Kara and Mon-El are not Martians. So Alex then freaks out on Maggie, because Kara went missing while she was playing hooky, and she's kind of blaming Maggie for it. And Maggie does get, understandably, a bit pissed about this because, one, I mean, she's overreacting, definitely. I wouldn't say she's overreacting, but, Maggie can tell that there's a genuine reason why she has such strong feelings about Supergirl and things like that. I mean, more than she should, honestly. She's really overreacting, and she's very overly concerned about Supergirl, which to Maggie doesn't make a ton of sense because it's just some random superhero who they're trying to help. She doesn't really understand why she's so upset about her, so she knows that there's definitely more going on there, and Maggie, like I said, to say the least, she's not really happy about this, and that's completely understandable. So Roulette then tells Supergirl that she went into the slave trade because Supergirl dismantled her club, and a Dominator shows up and says he's going to buy all the humans, and that was kind of cool that we got the Dominator back, because we know the Dominators are going to come back in some way, but he says he's going to buy all the humans, and Alex then recruits Wynn to join her on the mission to rescue Kara. Wynn tries to back out, but Alex says that no one gets better at handling dangerous situations by running away, and she tells him about how the first time she was in the DEO, she was terrified. She wanted to quit. She didn't realize how dangerous it really was, but she sticked around, and as we know, now she's very experienced. Now she really knows how to work in this type of area, and now she knows the kind of violence that is going to eventually come her way, and that's something that Wynn can't just back away from, and I like the way the episode did. I like that journey that Wynn is going on, that he's realizing that, yeah, now that he signed up for this, he can't really back out of it, and I like the way that Alex was able to convince him of that. Again, two characters who haven't had a ton of scenes together, but really made up for it in this episode. So Supergirl gives the prisoners a pep talk, but Mon-El wants to know why she's always the one trying to save people, and Supergirl says that she really never gives in, and that's the difference. And basically, she never says no, basically. So when the slavers arrive, Supergirl tries to protect everyone, so the aliens start zapping her with giant tasers. Watching Supergirl getting zapped inspires Mon-El and the other humans to fight back. They overwhelm the soldiers, and after locking Roulette and the alien scientists up, Supergirl leads the Inhumans, not the Inhumans, this is not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she leads the humans towards freedom, and that was a really well done scene overall. I really did like that. And Alex then leads Wynn, a strike team, through a portal to Slaver's Moon. Alex tells Wynn to unlock the portal so they can all get home. And while Alex attacks the fortress from the front, Supergirl and Mon-El protect the prisoners. Mon-El almost gets shot by one of the guards, but luckily the Dominator stops the guard, bows to Mon-El, and I like the way that they were able to save Mon-El there. And I like the way that everyone kind of played a part here, that Mon-El did some stuff, Alex actually attacked the fortress, and Alex and Wynn really helped out. I like the way that was done overall, and Alex and Supergirl then reunite at the edge of the fortress. Wynn beats up a guard trying to stop him. He then starts the portal just as Supergirl, Alex, and everyone else arrives. Joe, the alien, saves Alex from getting shot, heads to Earth with everyone else, and as a warship arrives, Supergirl sees Izzy getting dragged away by one of the guards. Alex then throws a yellow sun grenade at Supergirl to power her up and rescue Izzy. How awesome was that? Such a badass scene, and I love that Alex was the one to save the day there. Kara can't do everything. I like that we saw that Kara is not completely invincible. Yes, there are times where, she can save everyone and she does it with no problem. She'll definitely be able to save people, but she's not going to be able to save everyone, and there might be some times where she'll need some backup, and I like the way that Alex was actually the one that saved Izzy. I thought that was a really well done scene, and Supergirl then saves Izzy, gets through the portal. She heat visions the controls, stopping the portal from getting used ever again because of how dangerous it really is, and it's probably just not a good idea to use the portal again, so She brings Izzy back to her mother, dumps a report about Slaver's moon on Snapper's desk, and although Snapper asks Grumpy to Kara's face, he actually smiles after she leaves. So it really does seem that she's kind of winning him over, that she's really starting to see that she really cares about this and that that's the kind of reporter she wants to be. And he also sees she's very passionate and that she very much wants to do well. You know, this isn't just someone who is half-assing things. She actually does want to do a good job as a reporter, and I like that speech she gave where she talked about the kind of reporter she wanted to be. And I like the way that they really are kind of humanizing Snapper. You know, he's not just some mustache-twirling, Jameson ripoff. Because a lot of people said he's just kind of Jameson, and I like that we're not getting that here. There's a lot more to him than that. I like that overall. So Wynn tells Jimmy he's back in the Guardian game. He brags about his intergalactic exploits, and I really love that scene. Jeremy Jordan does such a good job with very loud comedic scenes. He's just a lot of fun to watch, and that's a very good example of that. But Alex apologized to Maggie for going crazy on her earlier, admits that she actually felt responsible for Supergirl's disappearance, and Maggie says that she actually knows that Kara is Supergirl, but isn't convinced that Alex won't run again, because there's no one else that Alex would react to that way. And I like that Maggie found out. Very different for a change. I don't think that's ever really happened in the Flash or Arrow, where someone found out through their own intelligence. Like, no one really thought about it. I'm sure that someone like Iris or someone like, say, Felicity or someone like that, or Thea, you know, they kind of had inklings that Barry was the Flash or that Oliver was the Arrow, but they never really actually straightforwardly said it. You know, they never found out this information for themselves. It was always revealed in some way, and I like the way that Maggie just casually found out, and she's not mad at Alex. She completely understands why, and that's one less person to have to worry about revealing the secret to. That's something this show really has never had a problem with, is having to keep this secret from anyone, because Kara told literally everyone in the first episode, and now Maggie knows. There's no reason for Kara to keep this secret, and I like that that's never really going to be a plot in this show, because it shouldn't be. This show hasn't done this before. Why would it do it now? And I'm glad they're not so far. So Alex says she wants to be happy with Maggie, and I love the direction that the plot is going. Those two have really good chemistry, and then we get to the ending here, which was so rewarding and really well done, and was something I think we've all really been waiting for. Now, I was a bit worried about this ending because it starts off and Mon-El shows up at Kara's apartment. I'm like, oh shit, please don't go in a romantic direction. I genuinely thought that Kara was going to tell Mon-El about the kiss. That's how I thought this episode was going to end, but I'm glad it didn't end in that way, because it ended a lot better than I thought it was going to. He actually shows up with Club Soda. He admits that he was wrong about not getting involved, and he tells Kara that he wants to be a superhero just like her. Through realizing how she saves people, he actually wants to do it, and she gives him a copy of the Highlights magazine he was reading at the clinic, says that he was more gallant than Goofus, and I really like seeing that. I like seeing that Mon-El actually wants to get involved. He actually does want to be a superhero. Now we have a reason for these two to start training, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Mon-El's training, Mon-El working with Kara. These two work really well together, and again, if we couldn't have Superman and Kara, I love Mon-El and Kara working together. It just works really well, so I definitely really like that. But the episode then ends with this mysterious hooded alien from the last episode. They arrive on Slave Moon. They're looking for Mon-El, and this alien scientist says that Mon-El's on Earth, so the aliens disintegrate him with a pistol. We have no idea what's going on there. I'm guessing that they're going after him, but that is the way the episode ends. Very interesting stuff overall. Let's just get into this episode and where I think we're headed for the rest of the season. So overall, despite nothing too major happening this episode, this was overall a very impressive mid-season premiere. I thought there was a lot of really good stuff going on here, especially when it came to Mon-El and Kara. I really like the direction they're going with them, but what are these aliens all about? Obviously, there's something more going on Mon-El, where eventually someone had to have discovered that he's on Earth, and that we know he's really not supposed to be there, but he's already learned the ways of Earth, and he's already kind of acclimated to the way that they function, so getting him back now just doesn't really make a ton of sense. But who these aliens are doesn't seem like they want him for a good reason, so there's definitely more going on there. I guess we'll have to see what happens as the show goes on, but I think they're definitely going to be our villain this season. That is one of my complaints this season, that we really haven't had an actual steady villain, and Hopefully this season we do, because I like what we got in the first half of the season with Lena Luthor, but it seems like she's not a big part of the show anymore, so I'm guessing that these aliens are going to be the villain for the rest of the season. We're going to kind of have this mystery aspect going on. I like that Mon-El is tied to that, because Mon-El is a character I've always found very compelling, and where they're going with him here, I love that he decided to work with Kara, and that he decided that Earth, he enjoys it a lot more than his time on Daxam, because sure, Daxam, he kind of felt at home, but at the same time, when he was on Daxam, he didn't feel like he had all the friends he did. He didn't really feel like he had the bond. He didn't really find his purpose there, and here on Earth, he's really starting to find his purpose. He's realizing he wants to become a superhero, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those two work alongside each other, seeing Mon-El in full superhero costume. That's something I think we're definitely going to see before the season ends, and I can't wait to see really where that's going to go, because those two just work so well together. I really do love them as friends, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with them throughout the season. And then I like, Alex, that Maggie found out that Kara's actually Supergirl. Again, I don't really think we've done that before, but again, it gives Alex, less of a reason to hide something from Maggie, because they could have easily gone this direction where Alex is a key to secret from Maggie, and a lesser show would have done that. A show that didn't care about its characters would have had a plot where Alex is hiding that secret from Maggie, and they probably end up breaking up that way. But this is a show that actually does care about its characters, and actually does time to develop them, and this is a very good example of that. The show is not going to do something petty. It's not going to focus on a petty conflict. One of the easiest conflicts you can do, well, not dumbest, but one of the easiest conflicts you can do in a superhero show is having someone in denial about who they really are. Them having this masked identity and having that individual not know who they really are. And I like that they're not going in that direction with Alex and Maggie, because they don't need to go in that direction. Maggie already knows who Kara is, and that keeps Alex from having to worry about, because she really doesn't have anything to worry about, and I like the direction that that's going. And then Winn and Jimmy, I like seeing these two work together. I like that Winn actually is going to kind of be James' sidekick, but the problem is, how long is James going to keep this secret from Kara? Because Kara, as we know, she's not liking the Guardian. She's not, appreciative of what he's doing. And because of that, I think when he tells her that he's the Guardian, she's not going to take kindly to it. I really don't see her taking kindly to this at all. I know James thinks that he's doing a good job and that he's doing something that he genuinely feels is helping everyone, but as we can see, it's really pissing Kara off. So I don't really think she's going to have a warm response when he tells her that he's the one that's the Guardian. And I'm not entirely sure how James ends up doing that, but she's going to find out in some capacity, and it's not really going to end well for anyone. But something else I really did love is where they went with Snapper in this episode, because as I said to you guys, Snapper's a character that I have been very mixed about throughout this entire season, but this is the first episode that really got me back on board with him. I like where they're going with him overall. I like that Kara's starting to get through to him. He's starting to see the generosity in her. He's starting to see the care that she has for her work, and if that's really where they're going to take him, where they're actually going to show that he is a good boss who just is a little bit tough, then I can get on board with that. I like where they're going with this character. I like that they are kind of developing him. They're actually listening to what we're saying, and I think they're doing a pretty good job with that. Overall, guys, I really did enjoy this premiere overall. I thought this was a very strong mid-season premiere. There's a lot of really great comedy, a lot of really great humor. It was funny. It had some really great dynamics. It was insightful. It focused on character just as much as it did on the villain, which the villain storyline, I will admit, wasn't the most memorable. It's something that we've definitely seen before, the whole abductee thing. It just seemed like a regular case that was going on. But other than that, I still really enjoyed this episode. This was definitely one of the strongest episodes for me of the season. I really did enjoy this one. I thought they really did do a great job of giving everyone something to do, and they've done really good with that all season. Everyone's really had something substantial to do, and this is a very good example of that. And I am going to give Supergirl Season 2, Episode 9, Supergirl Lives, a 4.5 out of 5 or an A-. So overall, guys, Mary, the mid-season premiere of Supergirl. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode overall. Loved your thoughts on it. Do you like where they're going with Mon-El? What do you think the aliens are all about? Did you like that Maggie found out that, who Kara really is? I thought that was definitely interesting. And what is Kara's reaction going to be when she finds out that James is the Guardian? That's something I'm definitely interested in getting into. But that's for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for tonight's episode of Shadowhunters, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.